you watched the previous video, Nora is now finished and gone. Dale took her away. He's very happy with the build. He dropped her off to have an alarm fitted, and then next couple of days he'll be out enjoying the car. So on to the next car, which was dropped off. You'll have seen it in the previous videos, a little clip of it. It's behind me now, white RS2000. It's just in for a couple of days, not a great deal of work. I'm just going to squeeze this one in just before Christmas, and then we'll be unearthing the Capri and the XR2. Have a bit of a move around so I can get a bit of access. I'll start working on some of the builds that have been sat in the background. I know I've had quite a few people actually interested in the Capri updates, messaging me asking about the Capri. So yeah, sure enough, it'll probably be New Year now, but there'll be some Capri updates. I'm actually going to Magnum one day this week to go and pick up some more panels for the Capri. I need some bits and pieces. I also need some panels for the XR2 and my own car. So I'll be making a little trip over to Magnum sometime this week, go pick some panels up. But anyway, this video, it's about this MK2 RS2000 behind me. I'll be here for a couple of days, should only be one video. I'm going to name this car Ethel, but this isn't the original Ethel because that belongs to Wayne Hickman. He's got a beige MK2 RS2000 custom, which has been known as Ethel for years, so this is Ethel number 2, if you like. I'll show you the car anyway. So this is Ethel. She's a 1980 MK2 RS2000 custom. It's been restored. It's obviously diamond white. Nice car, generally a nice car. It just needs some little finishing touches just to make it that little bit better. So that's why it's been sent over. Initially, the owner contacted me through Facebook, asking me could I adjust the nose cone, try and get it nose cone bonnet, try and get it sitting a bit better, which isn't ideal. I'm not sure how I'm going to get around that yet, because as you know, if you don't know, these nose cones can only bend and move so much, and you're already constrained, if you like, by the panels and where they are. So all I can do is try and make it better. So that's one of the jobs. Tweak the nose cone and bonnet, try and make the bonnet sit a bit better. The next one is the stripes. I'm not sure who fit the stripes. I'm not actually sure who restored the car. It's not been restored all that long. But the stripes are already peeling off at the nose cone, and they're a bit, I don't know if you can spot it on there, but they dip on the door, they're not right, and just a little bit, just want refitting. So I'm going to have to peel all the stripes off and put them back on. I think it dips down quite a bit on that wing. Yeah, see it drops in the middle. So one of the jobs is rip all the stripes off and correct them. Now, what did I think? Initially it was the bonnet, the stripes, and the exhaust hanger on the back has cracked or something, so that needs repairing. So that was the initial job. But then when the car landed, I spoke to the owner about the door gaps, because it's not a massive gap at the front. It's a little bit bigger than it should be, but it's definitely tighter at the back. So I'm going to nudge this door forward a touch just to level things out, make it better. And then on the boot lid, you can see it, boot lid's sitting a bit proud, and also, well, you can spot it easy there, boot lid wants to come down, so we're going to have to adjust that. And something you'll also notice is, even though yes, the boot lid's a bit high, the black is too low, just the same as Nora. It's been painted on off the top line of the boot lid, top line of the back panel, sorry, not the bottom line of the tailgate. Boot lid. God, I can't get my words out today. So again, it's going to be stripped down the back end, prep everything, flat this line off here, and just repaint the black to bring it back up, because as you know, that top pinstripe should line up with the top of the black, which is, some people say 15 mil, some people say 18 mil. I think it sort of varies between cars. I'm pretty sure this would have been done by man, you know, as in not by machine, by man. So I think everyone's slightly different, but I can try and bring it up higher. It'll look a bit more fitting with the stripe, and also you won't have that step at the back of the car on the boot lid. Same on this side, the boot lid fits a bit better this side, but there's still that step below the boot lid, so just bring it up a touch. Not a great deal, just enough so it makes it better. And the pinstripes will go in the right place. And also the passenger door, I think the gaps are worse on the passenger door. It's actually really quite tight, especially here. Then you get to the front and you got all this. So yeah, I'm gonna tweak the door gaps, pull the doors forward a touch, tweak the bonnet, tweak the boot lid, and then paint the back panel, restripe it. It's not a massive amount of work. Oh yeah, and the exhaust hanger, don't forget that. Not a massive amount of work, but it'll just make it a nicer car, just finish it off a bit better. So that's what I'm on with. This is going to be my job for the next couple of days, I think. Hoping to get this one finishing out before Christmas. But generally, it's a nice car, standard Pinto, nice brown chocolate interior. Yeah, all round, decent car. Just want some finishing touches, make it that a little bit better. Anyway, that's enough of that. Need to crack on with it. We'll just get this, start stripping the back end down. Number plate off, back bumper off, back lights out, and prepping this back panel. Right, so we've started the strip down the back end, ready to paint the back panel. Pretty straightforward getting this light out, just two 10mm nuts on the back, unplug it, out. Number plate off, straightforward, nice and easy. That a rear bumper, not like your normal MK2 Escort. It's actually a 3-piece on an RS2000. So you got your main bumper piece, and then you've got an end cap, which screws to the side bracket here, and then behind that bracket, behind that end cap, there's a bolt that goes through with a nut on it, which is wake up when you're ready. There we go. You just see it down there. Well, anyway, give it a torch. That's better. You can just see. Ooh, there it is, just in the M8 Norton bolt. So that's to get that off. So I'll get the back bumper off out of the way, and then it's driver's backlight, which again is not straightforward because the nut for the light, you can just see it down there, which would be impossible to get off. But Ford knew this, so there's a trick. I'll show you. And I know most people who've got MK2 Escorts will already know this trick, but I've been asked this question a few times, so I thought I'd show it in a video, so now you don't have to ask. So, like I said, to remove the driver's lens, driver's rear light, it's a little bit different from the passenger. The passenger just has two M6 nuts on the back. Nice and easy. The driver's side, this nut, the M6 nut, this side is accessible because the tank's not in the way, but this one is not accessible. So, what Ford did was this. Carefully remove the lens because you don't want to break an Altissimo lens, because you just can't buy them. The lens removed. I'll remove the 10mm nut inside. Now, Ford did was remove the indicator bulb, which doesn't want to come out. And then in there, you see a Phillips screw. Now if I'm right, ta-da! It just leaves the boss bolted in. Problem solved. So you don't need to remove your fuel tank to remove your driver's rear light, which is always handy when you've got to change bulbs. This one has got an earth wire on it. That's not factory. Must have had a problem with an earth somewhere. I know exactly what the problem is with the earth. It hasn't got the serrated washers on these. Instead it's got plain washers. The serrated washers have got like teeth on it that bites into the back panel and creates an earth. And because it hasn't, they've had to put this earth wire in to make it work. Ta-da! Light removed. It's that easy. Whatever you do, don't break your Altissimo lens, because if you haven't tried buying one, you'll soon realise they're very expensive and hard to find. Right, so that's the back end stripped down. No lights, no back bumper. I'll pull the boot seal off. I don't need to remove the drain because I'm masking up the fog light. They can stay on too. So that's as far as I need to strip down the back end. Next thing we want to do is get the boot lid sitting nice, so I know where to mask up, what height this black's going at. And that's where we run into the first problem. So I pulled the boot seal off, just in case it was the boot seal holding the boot lid up. So get that out of the way, and then adjusted the striker. Wake up gimbal, there we go. So the striker now is pulled down as far as it'll go, which when I put the boot seal on, the boot lid won't shut. I know that for a fact, but I thought I'd try it anyway, just to line up. And as you can see, under here, with that pulled down, it'll sit on the boot buffers on either side and should sit level. Should. So, this side, there you can see it. Trim line's pretty good. This side, not so good. So I don't know what's going on, whether it's at a back panel or a quarter, or it's got a twisted boot lid. All the other gaps are nice, you know, parallel, sits nice and square in between the quarters. It just will not come down any further. Even when you pull on it, nothing. So I'm not sure how I can make that any better. Like I said, this is with no boot seal on, it won't come down any further. I know for a fact if I put a boot seal on this now, that boot lid isn't shutting, not a chance. It was a bit of a pain anyway. It's obviously a new boot seal. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I can't get this was never part of the job anyway, just in the boot lid. I just wanted to do this so I can line my black up. So what I'm gonna have to do is take a measurement from this trim line to this line, to the edge of the boot lid, and copy it onto here, so the black is where it should be, so then the pinstripes will be in the right place. It's never straightforward. So I'm not changing anything on the black around here. It is what it is, it's already there. I'm just literally extending it up to the height it should be up here. Basically the same as what I did on Nora. Just so we can get the pinstripes in the right place and I was hoping it wouldn't make the back end look, well, I hate that step off the boot lid. I was hoping to try and correct that, but being as the boot lid won't come down any further due to something, I don't know, whether it's at a quarter, whether it's a back panel, whether it's the boot lid twisted, I don't know, but I can't correct it, so I'm just going to do the best I can with the black and try and make it look better. Bit disheartened by that. I would like to line that boot up better, but sadly it's not to be. It also looks like that edge has been ground off. The edge on the boot lid's quite round, which doesn't look right. When you look at that one, maybe it's had some sort of repair in the boot lid in the past or something, I don't know. So it's not right. So yeah, I'll just have to measure up and do it, measure off this, measure down to here, and do what I can. So, I thought I'd cheat. Instead of measuring the boot lid, you know, the trim line to the bottom edge, I thought I'll get the decal kit out from DMB because they always supply it with the backing cut at the right height. So you just put the top edge of the backing on the trim line and that's where the stripes go. And then I pull this stripe kit out and apparently the stripe now goes 5mm from the trim line, which isn't right. And I've always recommended DMB graphics because they did this little trick and it just made fitting the stripes easier. And this time, they've not done it. Well, what a bug. Now I'm going to have to measure out the full car when I'm fitting the pinstripes like I did on Nora. Well, that's disappointing. DMB have let me down. You've always been good. Why? Why now? Well, back to the drawing board. Can't win them all. So, while I was pondering the boot lid scenario, I decided to de-stripe the car, which was relatively straightforward because I don't think the stripes have been on there all that long. I just got a hot air gun, gently warmed them up because on this nice cold December evening, all they wanted to do was crack and break because it was brittle. So a little bit of heat softens the glue up, it also makes them a bit more stretchy and doesn't break, much easier. Not too much heat or you'll probably burn the paint. But something I did try was inside the boot on both sides, they have these little buffers. So I thought I'll try removing this buffer because what I noticed when I looked inside was it's really squashed, as if it's been completely compressed or over compressed. And sure enough, when I removed the buffer, it's not perfect, but it's certainly better, which tells me the problem is in the back panel. I.e. too much material under here, which is usually because it's had a back panel, well, you can tell by the line there, where it goes up, just about there. It's had one of them back panels by the company that I don't want to name, but we all know the back panels and they're pretty bad. So yeah, that'll be the issue. There's probably just too much material in here. So this is squashing. It's got nowhere to go, so it's forcing the boot lid up. So I don't really know what the answer is there, but I've worked out what the problem is. You look at this side, you know, not a very big gap, and then you get to here, and it's quite a bit bigger, even though the boot lid lines up better on this side. So the problem's the back panel. What I did do was measure up from the trim line to the bottom there, and it measures 15mm. There or thereabouts. It varies across the boot lid, but generally at this end it's 15mm. And I measured where the black is now to the trim line. It's actually 24mm here, so there's 10mm difference. So that trim line needs to come up just under 10mm. black line, sorry. Just under 10mm, which it's not a massive difference, but it'll certainly take your eye off it. So, what do we do now? I think I will just mask off this boot lid now, 15mm, and go with that, and then work out what to do with this problem next. And there's not really a lot I can do other than start digging out the back panel, which isn't what this car's here for. So it's a tough one. So as you can see, I've roughly masked out the back panel just while I prep it. Scotch Brite everywhere. I've got some 1500 and just took the lip off the black, so it's not, you know, you can't see it when the new stuff goes on. So that's the back panel all prepped now. I'm going to remove all this masking tape, panel wipe it, degrease it all, and then start masking out properly, and then we can get some black on there. So this is obviously Ethel 2. Got the car on the ramp to fix the exhaust hanger. Noticed a couple of issues. You'll be able to see one right now. The circlip's hanging out for the speedo cable. I don't know why. Because it has a Burton speedo cable, which is the incorrect thickness, so you can't put the circlip on. Next one is the engine mounts are sagged, which is another typical Pinto trait. They're quite far down to the point it's not far off the sump to the steering rack, and we can get the camera on it when it wakes up. We're getting very close to the cross member. Another thing I noticed is we've got some blows on the joint, which I can see why, because the exhaust clamp should be here. So that exhaust clamp, technically, yeah, there's a bit of movement in that. It's not really doing much. Same at the back. See, it's been blowing, and the clamp is just on the pipe and they're actually on the splits, so that's not clamping anything. Maybe you can see that from this side, but both the exhaust rubbers have cracked. Now, I know the exhaust hanger on the rear that bolts up had snapped. Now, I've took this off this morning, welded it and reinforced it, repainted it, fitted it, so this wasn't actually connected, the exhaust was just hanging. Hence why these two, as you can see, they're pretty badly cracked. You can just about notice the other one. That one's cracked too. And another thing I spotted is I spotted a drip. Well, you can just see it's a little focus in. Yeah, you can just see the on the bottom of the back plate it was actually dripping into the wheel. So my first assumption was failed brake cylinder. So I contacted the owner. I never like, it's the part of the job I hate, messaging the customer and go, well, I found some more problems, because I never want it to look like I'm fishing for work. I've got more than enough work. I just wanted it to be a quick job and out before Christmas. I didn't want the extra work really. I'll never turn it down, but you know, I didn't want him thinking I'm just trying to nail him for extra work. These are issues that need, you know, it's quite clear the exhaust blowing at both joints. The exhaust rubber, I don't know how that hasn't split. It is literally hanging on by a thread. The other one isn't too bad, but it's definitely crap, but this one is just hanging on by a thread. So that needs, they both need replacing. The exhaust needs resealing, and the last thing you want is a brake fluid leak onto your nice back plates and into your nice refurbished Dove Grey alloy wheels. So I put it to him, these are all optional. I spoke to him and said, this is all optional. I'm just advising you, things are found on the car, and he was decent enough. He said, no, just go ahead, do it. If you're happy to do it, do the work for me. So I've nipped out this morning, nipped out a minute ago, picked up some replacement engine mounts, picked up some replacement exhaust hanger rubbers for just them two that need replacing. I ordered my local classic Ford specialist, didn't have a brake cylinder in stock, so we ordered one. I collect that tomorrow, but the problem is, I thought I'll whip the wheel off, because the last thing I want is brake fluid dripping into the back of your wheel. So whip the wheel off, it's clean now. Obviously first job, get brake fluid off the paint. I'm gonna clean the wheel. Now if that was brake fluid, that paint would be, well, it'd be scrapped now. But it's good. So the first alarm bell rang. And then the next one was, when I took the drum off, it's bone dry. There's fluid there. So, and then look up here, and the spot is running out the half shaft. So, that's going to need some further investigation. It might be the half shaft bearing's been fitted the wrong way and it's letting fluid pass. I've seen it before where it's actually the half shaft bearing is a little loose in the axle casing and it's letting fluid pass. So anyway, that's going to need further investigation. Sadly, I've already ordered the brake cylinder, so that'll have to go on stock, put it on the shelf, and it might possibly need an half shaft bearing yet. We'll see. That's going to be further investigation. So something I have managed to do while the car was here was get the nose cone sitting a bit better. It's not perfect, but to be fair, it never was. As you can see, it's sitting, it's up a touch compared to what it was. It was probably up about 10-15 mil, so I think that's a lot better. What I'll do is remove the headlight cowls, pretty straightforward. Adjust the back off the screws in here, pull it up. The bonnet cable was really slack. When you pop the bonnet, there was very little pressure on it, so I knew the centre spring wanted to be compressed a bit more, so I compressed that a bit more, so it pulled the bonnet down, pulled the buffers down, and this area here was quite a bit down, so I actually gently warmed this area and pulled on it slightly to just bring it back to where it should be. I think it's probably sagged over time, and let it cool down again, and yeah, much better. Takes your eye off the gaps now. It was quite bad. So yeah, what I've got to do now is put the headlight cowls back in, and that's the nose cone and bonnet finished. Onto the exhaust. Let's get that done. Oh no, first of all, engine mounts. I want to get the engine mount swapped, so I'll do them first because that will change the height of the engine. It will lift it up, which will change the exhaust the way it sits. So get the engine mounts done first, and then set the exhaust height where it wants to be. So first job, as ever, disconnect the battery. Last thing I want to do while I'm working on the engine mount is touch the solenoid on the starter motor. So that's it, disconnected, and then you can see down there, you've got two M10. Let's get the camera down there. There we go. Just see an M10 nut. Get that out of the way on both sides, and then everything else is from underneath, really. Now then. Shouldn't say that. Anyway, I've got the two 17mm M10 nuts off the holding the mount rubber to the cross member. So now I'm going to jack the engine up and I started removing this bolt here, and then realised that I hadn't filmed it. So yeah, basically there's four 13mm bolts either side holding the engine bracket to the engine. The problem with these is you can't get them out without taking the alley mount off, because it's got a thread sticking out that screws into the alley, and it's got a thread sticking out here. There just isn't enough room. So what I do is undo all 8 bolts, one for that side, removed both mounts, put the new rubbers on, replaced them. On this one, this one's made a bracket to hold the clutch cable away, which is similar to what I've just done on Nora, but instead of putting it up here, I put it on the rack. Anyway, does the same job. So yeah, I'm just going to remove these 4 on this side, and then move to this side, remove them 4, get the mounts out, swap rubbers, put it all back together. So we go, relatively straightforward. Both mounts are off. Obviously I've got the engine sat on some blocks on a transmission stand. One thing I've noticed while I was working under here, got a proper rally sump, 77 HM, so year 77 HM Pinto. So it's being a late car, it's a 77 sump, so it's the proper one. Something I did notice, and you can see it dripping there, is a coolant leak. I did notice a bit of coolant on it and wondered where it come from. Yeah, it's dripping away. So I'm hoping that just wants nipping up. Fingers crossed. It's not anything more than just it doesn't look like it's above the, doesn't look like it's the core, just looks like the pipe. So probably just wants nipping up. I'll address that. Generally, it's a nice car. I don't know if it's had inner wings or just this panel replaced, but I know that fixing for the bumper ends is wrong. It should be like a square captive nut, if you like. So that's definitely Magnum, that little panel. So possibly adding the wings, or just that panel, the same both sides. But yeah, generally, it's a nicely restored car. Whoever done the shell's done a nice job. I've noticed one panel that's completely wrong, but I'm not going to show it in the video because I don't want the owner thinking I'm knocking his car to a very nice car. It's been done very well, very neat. Just want some finishing touches. Proper trapper ends on it. Genuine Ford TCAs. Yeah, it's got all the right bits. It's nice. Copy CN36s. Dove grey sensors. Wheels have been done. What I could do with a polish, but yeah, it's a very nice Escort. Anyway, back to the job at hand. I hope you people appreciate the time that goes into filming these videos, because every time I do a bit, I have to pick the camera up, switch my radio off, switch my Christmas songs off, because obviously it's nearly Christmas, you have to listen to Christmas songs, turn them off, grab my phone, set my gimbal up, film a little bit, switch it off, put my radio back on, and back to the job. So every job, say for instance the job should take an hour, it probably takes more like an hour and 30, an hour 45, and I obviously can't charge the customer for that, so I have to knock off the bill the extra time to compensate for filming. There you go, new engine rubbers on, pulse it back to the engine. Little tip for you, I always get asked this, which engine mount goes which side. So it's long left, so long engine bracket to the left if you're sat in the car. Another way to tell if you've got the right side or not, I don't know if you can see it, the part number's there, and there. You should be able to see the part number from the front of the car. There you go, that's a little freebie. You can have that for nothing. So, made a big difference, lift the engine right up, out the way. When the gimbal wakes up, nice clearance on the sump now. Much better. What I've got to do is let it down now, put the washer, spring washer and M10 nut on both sides, reconnect the battery. I also fixed the coolant leak. It just wanted nipping up. It was probably the engine sagging and pulling on this hose that has caused it to leak. But anyway, another job ticked off. As you can see, it's hard to see on a camera. Yeah. But they should sit actually square. Whoa, where are we? Instead, they are, you can see they're quite deformed. And that one's actually starting to pull out, the steel insert's starting to pull out at the top. So yeah, they didn't have long left. All done. battery reconnected. I put the 17mm nuts, washers, spring washers, started it up, and thankfully it's not shaking the car apart. It's always the risk with aftermarket engine mounts. You put them on, start it up, the car vibrates like hell. Sounds awful, but thankfully this one sounds good. All in all, I think it probably took about an hour, which is good considering I was filming and I'm also injured. I've got a steel splinter in the end of my finger somewhere, but for the life of me I can't find it, so yeah, soldiering on. It was helped. I'll tell you what, this is a handy tool to have. Electric ratchet. This was given to me by my brother. I never really bothered with him before, but jobs like this where it's a bit tight for a ratchet and span and stuff, definitely worth having. So back to it on Ethel. What I didn't tell you or show you earlier on was this exhaust bracket, bolts to the body was snapped, so I actually removed it, re-welded it, put a bit of strength in there, repainted it, all good. I did show you them two exhaust rubbers cracked, which are actually here. One of them looked better than the other, but what I couldn't see was on top. It was just about to give way. Pretty perished. And then this was the other one which you could see, which was clinging on for dear life. I reckon if I pull that hard enough. Oh, can I? No, can't snap it. But yeah, it's knackered. So I've got two new exhaust rubbers. They're on there. What I did was went along and this little crossover pipe was actually sitting quite low, so I backed off the exhaust clamps, which weren't particularly tight. Lifted this up and then reset all the exhaust clamps, got it sitting where I wanted to the floor and stuff like that, got it sitting nice, marked up all the joints so I knew where I wanted it to go, pulled the exhaust off, pasted all the joints and put the exhaust clamps in the correct places because they was up here and they wasn't doing anything. And as shown you on this one, this clamp was back here, so it wasn't even the right place. So anyway, it's all in the right place now, it's nice and tight, it shouldn't blow, it's solid, it's lifted up, and it's on all its rubbers. So that's that problem solved. While I was back here working away, I just happened to knock the gearbox cup with my hand. So something's not right there. I'm not knocking who built this car, so it might have got overlooked, or it feels tight. I've not tried it with the ratchet, but something's not right there. And then I spotted something else which I'm confused about. So just up there on the block you can see, it's hard to read, left front and right front. So the blocks are in the right place, yet the mounts had to be re-drilled, and these holes line up with the bolts that go into the existing mount. So has this mount been moved to suit a Type E maybe, or I don't know, or a Type 9, sorry. Yeah, because you have to move it back for a Type 9. I don't know, I'm confused, I'm absolutely baffled as to why it doesn't line up. I'm not going to mess with it, it's done. You know, I am going to sort this out, because obviously that means the gearbox is loose. So that needs fixing. I'm confused with that one. I've never come across that one before. Anyway, let's fix this gearbox that's falling out. This is just a typical classic Ford. I'm not knocking this car, I don't rebuilt it, and you know, generally it's a nice car, but there's just little bits and pieces. But it's like it coming here for the bonnet to be adjusted and a set of stripes from the exhaust hanger to be welded. I've had pretty much the full exhaust system off, replaced rubbers, fixed the hanger. It looks like I'm doing a half shaft bearing. The engine mounts, tightening the gearbox mounts up, see what's going on there, adjusting panels. You know, these cars always grow arms and legs, and it's not that I'm trying to get more work out the owner. I'm just correcting things that I can correct. quite easily. You know, that gearbox mount, I'm not quite sure what that'll need to correct that, and really don't want to delve into it because it could open a can of worms. But I'll correct what I can, as long as the customer's happy, which he is. He's already told me he wants the car right. So things like the gearbox hanging out and the engine mounts and exhaust hanging off, pretty sure he's going to want them doing. So yeah, let's tackle the gearbox next. And thankfully that turned out to be quite an easy job. It turned out that the bolts had just backed out because, well, I'm going to put it down to there being no spring washer on it. I'm a big advocate for spring washers. Always fit them, especially on engine, gearbox mounts, anything that vibrates and shakes. If you're not going to fit a spring washer, use a bit of Loctite, you know, much better. Let's push it up on the gearbox, nice and solid now. I also noticed one of these bolts was loose, and also one on the other side as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to give it a spanner check. I also noticed, well, while I'm here, I'll just check the wheel bearings. And I don't know if you can pick up on that camera, but that's just trying to shake it one-handed. There's quite a bit of play in that one. There's a little bit in this one, not as bad, but there's still some play in it. Yeah, definitely can't pick that one up on camera. So yeah, I'm just going to go around with my torque wrench. Obviously nip the front wheel bearings up because there's play in them. Just go around with my torque wrench and just check all the torques on things, because there's quite a few things I've come across already that are loose. So just give the guys some peace of mind. It's worth just checking over, especially things like prop shaft and, you know, well, everything. Just give it a once over. It's not going to do any harm. It'll probably take half an hour, but at least I know all the running gear is not going to fall off, or, you know, anything bad's going to happen. So yeah, that's the next job. It is a good car. I'm certainly not knocking the person who built it. It's probably done a few miles since it was built, and now just wants a good spanner check and a once over. I know I did it with Nora. I took it out and put 25 miles on it and brought it back and spanner checked it again just to make sure. Really it could do with doing a couple of 100 miles and another spanner check just to be sure. But yeah, next job, spanner check, make sure it's all good. So I removed the front wheels to nip up the front wheel bearings and spotted something missing. No grease caps. So I've took the split pin out, took the cover off, torqued the centre nuts up to 27 pound-foot, refitted the wheel, tried it, it's fixed it. No more play in it, it spins freely. Done that on both sides, put new split pins in. I'll have to source a set of grease caps tomorrow. Fit some grease caps so it's not leaking grease. And that's another job ticked off. That's basically all everything torqued up on the suspension and everything now. I'm quite happy with it. The only thing to address on the suspension and underside now is the leaky half shaft. So I'll have to pick up, well, first of all, I'm going to remove the half shaft and see if I can see what the fault is. If the half shaft comes out really easy, then it's probably just needs a bit of sealant around it into the casing. If it's tight coming out, then it's more than likely the bearing, the seal on it's leaking. So we'll have to replace the half shaft bearing, but we'll see tomorrow. I've had enough for tonight. I'm going home. Tired, sick of hearing Christmas songs. Bar humbug. You have to excuse the hailstone. Just suddenly started hailstoning as soon as I put the camera up. Easy. Nice job. You're gonna stop? Anyway. Black's painted. Looks a bit better, now lines up with the boot lid. Boot lid's a bit high on this side at the minute, but yeah, generally you get the idea. Wasn't happy with it the first time I painted it, so I actually ended up painting it twice. But I'm still not happy with it now, but it's better. So, got the number plate back on, got the rear bumper on. I'm just about to fit the back lights. Little tip for when you're fitting the back lights, whenever you're trying to pull them in with the two fixings, you always want to grab on the the aperture and the rubber. So get some grease, smear it around the seal. It'll help it position nice, you know, sink into the aperture better, and it'll also help seal the light in, because grease will seal the water out. So it does two things at once. Yeah, wax better. I get the lights in, and then that's it for the back end. I'll boot seal and adjust the boot lid. The back end's done. Sadly, I can't get an R shaft burning until probably going to be New Year now, and same with the grease caps. So customer's coming in, he's away at the minute, working away, so I think he flies back tomorrow. So I don't know if he's going to be coming tomorrow, or he'll probably be coming Saturday. So I'll give you the option of take the car away, I'll get the stripes done, get the doors adjusted, take the car away, and he can bring it back in the New Year, and we'll do the half shafts and the grease caps, or leave it with me, see what he wants to do. But yeah, hopefully I can get it striped tomorrow, get the doors adjusted, get it striped, and then the last thing to do is a half shaft burn and grease caps when everywhere opens to get up again in New Year. In fact, the owner of Ethel actually called in yesterday and talked through the build and stuff, what I can do and what's going on, and he actually decided that he wants to swap these for the new ones, which look a bit more. These are obviously the old ones, and she did the job, but they don't look very good. So we're going to swap the outer weather strips for some new style ones. We're going to swap the quarter light seals, because these are non-custom ones, so the door card doesn't tuck behind them. So door card's going to be cut off, glass out, swap the quarter light for some custom style, and swap these rivets in here for some black ones, and get the door panel fitting better. So that's just some more jobs that will be going on Ethel, and then obviously play with the tailgate a bit more, get that sitting better, play with the door gaps, stripe it, half shaft seal, grease caps, and I think that's it for this car then. I'll swap this big silver Allen key bolt for something a bit more fitting in black. Yeah, and that'll be it. So that's it for this update on the on Ethel. It's going to be sadly it's going to be New Year before I can finish it now, because you know, I'm here sticking out like that. Can't get an half shaft burning till January, and grease caps till January. So yeah, it'll get finished in the New Year now. It's not a great deal of work left to do. But yeah, that's it. That's it for workshop updates anyway. There may be some updates on my own car, which I dragged out for over Christmas. We'll see if I get any time on it. I usually get a couple of days to do some work on my car, but we'll see how things pan out. If I do get to work on it, I'll make sure I film it and update you on that one. But if I don't see you, have a good Christmas and a good New Year. I'll see you in January. Don't forget, please like, share, subscribe, comment. It all helps the channel. There you go. I'll see you next year.